Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new season of the Porsche Cup Car here on iRacing. Here at the Interlagos circuit. My name is Matt Emery with Veloce, and we're Coach Dave Academy for another track guide and another season, 2024 season 1. Also, a notice I'm in a brand new room as well. So yeah, let's get into the new season. Okay guys, so let's get into the hot lap guide then for the Interlagos circuit for week 1. Now the lap really starts all the way up the hill, especially in qualifying. You're really looking to get a good exit out of the last corner, just so you can set up and carry as much speed as you can over the start-finish straight. So you'll notice this is only in qualifying. I'm taking a bit of a wider line, just to carry as much momentum onto the straight as I can across the start-finish line. And then all the way to the right-hand side, you're just looking to set up turn 1 as best you can. Now you're looking to hit the brakes just about around the 100-meter board. So if I just go back slightly, you see just up here, there's a 100-meter board on the right-hand side. You're just slamming the brakes on, getting it into the corner. It's a very, very tricky braking zone here, as it's slightly downhill as well, and you're turning while braking. So very easy to lock up, brake too late, and go straight on. So do make sure you practice your braking zones for turn 1. The curb on the inside, you're looking to get as far alongside this curb as you can. I missed the apex slightly here, but you want to be basically opening up turn 2. You're really focusing turn 1 on the exit of turn 2. So just make sure you're opening up as much as you can, staying as left as you can as well, and then back on the throttle for turn 2. Now you'll notice I'm turning in quite early here. So you notice I'm already turning in from about this, the end of the tarmac and the start of the grass. That's just to make sure I get onto this curb and rotate the car nicely. And then for the second part of this chicane, so go in cockpit here, you're aiming for your right-hand tyre just to be slightly on the grass, just so you can cut that as much as you can. You notice I'm just lifting off the throttle slightly, just to make sure we make the corner. And then back on it as early as you can, and then exit into turn 3, and then down to turn 4. So yeah, slight lift for turn 2, flat out then for turn 3, and then you're just trying to run it as close as you can to this curb on the inside without scrubbing the tyres too much. Now, if you get too far on this curb, it unsettles the car quite heavily. So it's very important to make sure you stay sort of on this part of the curb or on the white line, just so you're not unsettling the car. Now you notice just slightly I'm fighting the car, just gently, just little corrections around turn 3. Still full throttle, and then all the way out to the right-hand side for the curb. And then flat out down towards turn 4. Another very tricky braking zone. And you're braking just about the 100-meter board, slightly before this time. and then it's third gear. Take all the curb that you can on the entry, and then on the exit as well. Now this corner is very tricky, especially the exit curb, because it's very, very harsh on track limits, and there'll be times, I know in practice I found, that I didn't think I was going off the track, but I still getting off track. So make sure you're being extra cautious with this corner so you don't get that off track and obviously invalidate your qualifying laps. And also it's very easy to pick them up in the race as well. You don't want to be going over the instant limit at all. So yeah, back on the throttle early, making sure you're just keeping within the white line there. And then you're opening up the run up the hill. You notice I'm also staying quite far left here, just not taking any unnecessary meters on the track. And into the double apex right-hander at the top of the hill. Now there's a couple of different lines you can take here. I prefer to turn in a bit earlier. So you notice I turn in quite early, nail the first part of the curb, and then you just got to be really patient coming up the hill while you're waiting for the second apex. And then again, you can nail that second curb there. But yeah, you notice I'm braking into the first bit, coming off it as well, just trailing into this first apex, still on the brake, and then back on the throttle midway through the corner. And then just a slight lift just to get us over the crest and into the hairpin that follows. Also just running it out as far as you can for this part of the track. Now, you notice, I mean, I'm clearly off the track here, way past the white line, but the game does allow you to do that. So just make sure you're using all the track you can to open up the next hairpin. I believe the limit is about there. So you can see I'm pretty much on the limit there. You don't really want to go any further than that, otherwise you will pick up an off track. But what it does just means you can open up the next hairpin, and you can use the again, a lot of the curb for this corner as well. Again, it's a bit of a strange track because there's a few different lines you can take for each corner, especially these ones in the middle sector where you've got a lot of camber to use, and they all feed into one another. Now you can see there's a lot of AstroTurf as well on the inside you can use, but obviously it does compromise your exit slightly. So I went for a bit slightly later apex, not as much curb, and then I tend to apex again quite early for this one. So I'm coming off the brakes, just about at the middle of the corner, back on the throttle, and then I'm using the curb to rotate the car. So you notice I'm not really going too wide for this next corner. You could, if you wanted to, be a bit further over here and open up this corner. But I tend to dive straight for the apex. As you'll find, and you will in practice as well, that if you get your front left tyre on this curb, it will help drag round the car and get that extra rotation you need. It just means you can get on the throttle a lot earlier as well. You then come up to the next hairpin. Now again, there is a couple of lines you can take here. Now a lot of people I see tend to drift off wide, sort of come up and square off the corner, which I haven't done on this lap. I was experimenting a bit with different lines for this corner, as it's quite a wide track in places, so it's always good to experiment with your lines and see what's quicker. And my driving style and the way I tend to drive is a bit shorter corners. So I get into the apex nice and early and get all the rotation done on the apex with my brakes. So notice I've got a lot of brake on still and just using the car and the brakes to rotate the car. Then you're back on the throttle on the apex, and then you want to get it as far right as you can just to open up this next downhill swooping left-hander. Now you notice, especially on cold tyres, this corner is quite tricky. And you'll notice probably on my inputs, you just notice I'm fighting the car slightly all the way through here. So you've got to be very careful with your rear tyres not to overheat them. As obviously it's a bit of a snowball effect. Once you start losing your rears, they're just going to get worse and worse and keep overheating. So very important here to keep them in check. If you put too much throttle on, you notice I'm lifting off from most of the corner. If you put too much throttle on too early, you're just going to lose the rear. And again, as I said, you're going to overheat the tyres. So not overdoing it too much on that corner. And then on the exit, using all of this curb that you can. And as I'm sure many of you know now, you can use this, I'm not sure really what it is, AstroTurf, to open up the final corner. So you're running it all the way out there wide. braking completely off the track on the AstroTurf or the mesh, and then turning in, getting as much curb as you can on the inside, and then really important to set up this final corner as you've got that very long run to the line. So back on the throttle as early as you can, and then you drive up the hill. Obviously these corners are now completely flat out. Taking that curb as well, just taking the shortest run to the line, and then ducking inside the pit entry. And then obviously on a qualifying lap, you're going to want to cut the track completely. So you notice here, I go all the way to the line. But on a normal race lap, obviously you're still wanting to set up turn 1. So just take your normal racing line, which would be sort of back through the pit entry onto the racing line for the pit straight. But yeah, that was a hot lap guide for the Interlagos circuit. So that was the first week then of the Porsche Cup car for the Interlagos circuit. I've been Matt Emery. This is me, Coach Dave, academy.com. Make sure you check out the Discord channel for any questions you have. People like myself are there to help you. And obviously, yeah, make sure you check out all the content on YouTube as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys for week 2, which I believe is at Zandvoort. And I don't think the Porsche Cup car has ever been around Zandvoort, so that'll be very interesting to drive. But yeah, hope that was useful for you guys. Sorry. And I will see you next week. Take care.